Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to make a Pollyball Livebait pop-up rig. It's not the only way to do it, but this is the way I do them, this is the way I make them. So I use Sunset Amnesia at £60, which is there. I'm going to make a rig for worms, leeches and small live baits. So I'm going to use a size 2 eagle wave. I've already made a rig here which I'm going to show you. So let's get rid of that. I've made a rig specifically for leeches and worms. The thing with these rigs is, the way I make them, and I'm sure everybody else does, is that you can change the bait, the ball, you can change the popper, the size. So the size of the popper, the bigger the popper is, the larger the bait you can use. And I find that a size 2 will cover most baits that I use. If you're going to use larger baits, then obviously use a larger ball. But the rig that I'm going to make now is going to have a larger ball on that, but the same size up. So, and there's the finished rig. That's what we'll be making. If that don't untangle from there, there's the rig with the pop up there. So it's fairly long. If I can just show you from that angle there, and it sits like that on the bottom with the ball coming up the top. Stiff mono is ideal for these rigs because obviously it doesn't tangle. It doesn't tangle at all, or very rarely. If you're using braid or soft line, then you're going to get trouble. You're going to start getting problems with tangles and what have you. So anyway, I've mentioned the fact that I'm using Sunset Amnesia. Excuse me, size 2 eagle wave up. They were the size poppers that I used to make that rig, specifically for worms. I could use a smaller popper actually, but that's specifically for worms and leeches. I'm also going to make another one and use a popper that size. So that's going to be my next one, the one that I'm going to make. That'll do dead baits, small live baits as well. I'm using Catmaster cat leader crimps, the 1mm. There's 50 in a box. I'm using those. They're ideal to use with the Amnesia. And I've also got 3mm silicone tubing. And then to finish off, an £80 swivel, which is Catmaster swivel. It's not a Catmaster advert, by the way. It's just that that's the stuff I've got, and it's the stuff I use. So that's what I've got to use. I've got to use it. Anyway, I've already steamed the Amnesia. I don't know whether you know this or not, but Amnesia is memory free, which means if you steam it over a hot kettle, then all the kinks, when you get it, it's as kinky as anything. So it's like it all coils up. But the minute you steam it, then it straightens out, so it ends up just nice and straight. It's ideal for these rigs, like I said earlier. Okay, so first thing is that I want this rig to be fished probably 2 foot from the surface. When I put the bait in the water, I can fish these rigs on the surface, on the lake bed, and anywhere in between. So imagine I've just put my poppers on, my balls on there. So I like to fish with my ball on there. I'm going to go 2 foot, approximately 2 foot, measure 2 foot off. I've already cut this piece. So at the bottom there where I'm holding it here, is where the hook's going to go. The popper's on here, the hook's there. So I measure another 2 foot. That's distance I want to fish off the bottom. If I want to fish it from the bottom, I prefer it around about 2 foot or 2.5 foot and a half, something, around 2 foot. And then I also want to add an extra, say 6 inches for this part of the rig here. When you've got the rig out, you need that piece there with the rubber tubing on. So you've got 2 foot from here to the popper, or whatever it is you want, whatever distance, length you want to fish. And then from the silicon tubing down to your swivel, you've got roughly the same distance again. So you just need to double your distance, if that's where you want to fish, and add another 6-7 inches on for this part of the rig, which is that there. Like I say, when you steam it, it all straightens out again. So we'll put that one away. Okay, so first things first, put the hook on. You put the hook on your line. These are double crimps. So I'm going to put the crimp in both ends of the mono. Go into the crimp. I'm going to leave it. Push the crimp up round about. Don't take it straight up to the hook. Leave a sort of a gap so that you can see there's a bit of a loop there. I don't know whether you can see that behind, but there's a loop there. That just leaves for play. I want to put another crimp on. I always double crimp. There's my second crimp on. So what I'm going to do now is crimp the first. Crimp. Push the second crimp all the way up to the first crimp. Crimp again. Okay, that's that done. Now there's a little thing that I use to keep it out, to keep it stiff, keep it away from the line, is a piece of shrink tube. I think it's 1.6 mil shrink tube. I'm going to use about 6 inches of it. And I'll shove that on, push that over there, put both ends of the amnesia through. Now this is where I could do with some washing up liquid or something. Once I've got that piece of tubing on, the stiff tubing, I'm going to steam that now. It's been steamed. I've had it over the kettle and steamed it, and it's shrunk, and it's nice and tight up against the 2 pieces of mono. So that's to hold it into place, keep it away from the line, like I say. I'm going to get a piece of silicon tubing now, 3 mil, and I'm going to measure a piece from the hook so that it covers all the crimps, and it covers all the shrink tube. I don't need to cover all the shrink tube really, but I'm going to. I always do. So put that on. Again, push the 2 ends of the of your mono through. Right, now I've got the silicon tubing on, and I pushed it right onto the hook so that it's all covered and there's no metal, and it's covered the whole length of the shrink tubing. My next job is to put the polyball on. So push that through. Right, so I'm going to crimp this, and I'm going to use a small loop, or a little clip, anything that's sort of circular. And the idea is that when you've got this set up, if it breaks off, if you lose the fish, the ball will come free. It's not going to get tethered up. Crimp that. all I've got to do now is pull this into the ball, making sure that you don't pull it right through. So what I'll do when I get to start using it, I'll just put a little soft blade of grass or twig or something soft, so that, like I say, if the fish breaks off and it gets tethered up, this will come away. So the fish can, you know, with a barbless hook, it'll just come away eventually. It's not going to get tethered. If you keep that, if that is solidly on there, then it's, you know, the fish is not got much chance of getting away from whatever it gets tethered up to. So that's that end done. The next one again now is I'll finish it off with some tube, just a piece of tube to clean up the swivel end. Right, so there's my crimps on. Got an 80-pound Catmaster swivel. Right, I'll crimp the first one. Shove the second one up. Crimp that. Just trim the tab end off. And slide that all the way over the two crimps, and there you have the finished item. So there's the swivel end. There's a hook length that's going to stand away from the line. It's quite long, that one actually. And then the actual rig now will sit something like that when it's floating. So you're talking a foot off the bottom and just over a foot from the top. That's the method I use to make a Pollyball Livebait rig. Thank you for watching. I hope you've learned something.